Listen, I had been running security detail at the Outer Rim fighting pits for 17 cycles, and I thought I had seen everything. Thought being the operative word here. My name is Vrek, and before you ask, yes, I am what your species would call paranoid. In my line of work, paranoia keeps your internal organs exactly where they belong, inside you. The fighting pits attracted the worst scum from 40 different star systems. Smugglers, war criminals, debt collectors with anger management issues. Real charming types. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, prepared me for what happened the night Marcus Webb walked into my arena. The reigning champion was a Korthax warrior named Brul. 8 feet of pure muscle, for arms that could snap titanium support beams, and a face that looked like someone had tried to carve a mountain with explosives. He had held the championship for 3 years straight. 3 years. Do you understand what that means? 217 consecutive victories. No draws. No defeats. Just broken opponents and shattered reputations. They said no one had ever hit him. They said his reflexes were enhanced with military-grade neural implants. They said betting against him was the fastest way to go bankrupt. I had watched Brul tear through opponents like they were made of wet tissue paper. The betting pool that night was sitting at 5 million credits, and every single credit was on Brul. Every single one, except for one bet. Some off-world tourist had put down 50,000 credits on the human. I remember laughing so hard I nearly choked on my drink. A human. These soft, squishy little primates who died if you looked at them wrong. Their bones broke if they fell downstairs. Their skin tore on thorny plants. They needed exactly the right temperature, the right atmosphere, the right everything, or they would just stop working. And this particular human did not look impressive. Marcus Webb stood maybe 6 feet tall, which is short by galactic standards. He wore simple black training clothes. No armor. No weapons. No cybernetic enhancements that I could detect with my scanner. His hair was dark and messy, like he had just rolled out of bed and decided to wander into a death match. He looked bored, actually, like he was waiting for a transport that was running late. The crowd was going insane. 12,000 spectators from across the galaxy, all screaming for blood. The atmosphere in the pit was electric, violent, hungry. The air recyclers could barely keep up with all the different pheromones and chemical signals that different species released when they got excited. My partner, a Valonian named Kree, leaned over to me. His 3 eyes were spinning in different directions, a sure sign he was nervous. "This is wrong," Kree whispered, his translator crackling. "This is going to be a massacre. Should we stop this?" I shrugged. They both signed the waivers. Legal says we are covered. That human is going to die. Brul is going to literally tear him apart. I have seen it before. Remember that Quarian who challenged him? I did remember. We had needed 3 mop bots and a hazmat team for cleanup. The announcer, a floating holographic projection, began the pre-fight ritual. Ladies, gentlemen, and sentients of all classifications. Tonight we witness history. The undefeated, the unstoppable, the absolutely merciless champion of the Outer Rim fighting pits. Brul the Breaker. The crowd went completely mental. Brul stepped into the center ring, all 4 arms raised in victory before the fight had even started. His war cry shook the reinforced walls. And his challenger, from the backwater planet Earth, weighing in at, wait, this cannot be correct. 170 pounds? Is this a typo? Scattered laughter rippled through the audience. Marcus Webb, the human, walked into the ring. No dramatic entrance. No posturing. He just walked in like he was going to grab coffee. Some people in the crowd started booing. Others were laughing. A few were already getting up to leave, clearly thinking this would be over in seconds. Brul looked down at Marcus with all the contempt an 8-foot-tall killing machine could muster. "You are either very brave or very stupid, little human." Marcus tilted his head slightly, and I swear I saw the ghost of a smile on his face. Probably both, big guy. The starting bell rang. What happened next would become the most watched fight recording in galactic history. Brul charged forward, all 4 arms reaching to grab, crush, and dismember. Standard opening move. Brutal, effective, never failed. Except this time it did. Marcus moved. Not like anything I had ever seen before. Not like a trained fighter. Not like someone trying to dodge. He moved like water, like smoke, like he was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Brul's four massive arms closed on empty air where the human had been standing exactly 0.3 seconds earlier. And then Marcus hit him. Once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5. 5 hits landed before Brul's enhanced neural implants even registered that he was under attack. 5 precise strikes to nerve clusters that even most medical professionals did not know existed. I saw it all happen on the slow-motion replay later, and even then it was hard to track. The crowd went silent. Dead silent. 12,000 beings holding their collective breath. Brul stumbled backward, confusion spreading across his face like someone had just explained advanced mathematics to a particularly slow child. His lower left arm was hanging limp. That arm could crush starship hull plating. It was just hanging there like a broken toy. What did you do? Brul's voice came out strangled, confused. Marcus rolled his shoulders, still looking completely relaxed. You telegraphed that charge about 3 seconds before you moved. Might want to work on that. Oh, the sarcasm. The absolute disrespect. I loved it. The crowd loved it. Suddenly, everyone was leaning forward, and the laughter had stopped completely. Brul roared, a sound that would have made a supernova feel inadequate. He came at Marcus again, this time faster, more calculated. His 3 working arms moved in patterns designed by Korthak's military strategists, patterns that had won wars, patterns that should have been impossible to counter without computational assistance. Marcus countered them anyway. He slipped inside Brul's guard, which should have been suicide. Instead, he landed 2 more hits to the champion's ribs. I heard something crack, even from my position 50 feet away. Brul swung wildly, desperation replacing confidence. Marcus ducked under the swing, stepped behind him, and delivered a kick to the back of Brul's knee that dropped the giant warrior like a collapsing building. The crowd erupted. Half were cheering, half were screaming in disbelief, and everyone was on their feet. Credits were changing hands so fast the betting system crashed twice. Cree was gripping my arm so hard I lost circulation. This is impossible. The human is not even breathing hard. Brul has been training since he could walk. He has military enhancements. How is this happening? I shook my head, unable to look away. I have absolutely no idea. Brul struggled to his feet, and I could see something I had never seen before in 3 years of watching him fight. Fear. Real, genuine fear in those eyes. You are not normal, Brul said, backing away for the first time in his entire fighting career. What are you? Marcus shrugged, that same casual gesture. Just a guy who showed up for a fight. Brul charged one last time, putting everything into a final desperate assault. All 3 working arms, his enhanced speed, his weight advantage, everything he had left. Marcus sidestepped, grabbed one of those massive arms, and used Brul's own momentum against him. The physics should not have worked. The weight difference was too extreme. But somehow, impossibly, the 8-foot-tall champion went flying through the air and crashed into the arena wall hard enough to crack the reinforced barrier. Brul did not get up. The referee, a synthetic intelligence with no emotional programming, took 5 full seconds to process what had just happened before declaring Marcus the winner. The crowd went completely insane. Riots broke out in 3 sections. The betting system exploded entirely. Security had to be called in from 2 other facilities. It was complete madness. Marcus just stood there in the center of the ring, not even celebrating. He looked around at the chaos, then walked over to collect his winnings like he had just won a minor card game instead of defeating the most dangerous fighter in the sector. I caught up with him at the payout window. I had to know. How? I asked. Just tell me how. The enhancements, the training, the size difference. None of it mattered. How did you do that? Marcus counted his credits, then looked at me with eyes that held way more experience than someone his age should have. You want the real answer? Humans are not the toughest species. We are not the fastest. We are not the strongest. But we are persistent. We study. We learn. We adapt. And we have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We got really, really good at it. He pocketed his credits and started walking toward the exit. Oh, and one more thing. He called back over his shoulder. Your champion? He had 17 obvious tells. 17. I counted them in the first 10 seconds. Maybe next time do not assume someone is harmless just because they look soft. And then Marcus Webb walked out of the fighting pits, leaving behind the most expensive lesson in humility the Outer Rim had ever witnessed. They said no one had ever hit Brul. They were wrong. If this story entertained or taught you something, Please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us grow and bring you more stories like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next story.